Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. This was a game I got in just about a week ago with kind of a local guy, not too far. I actually played him at Siege of the Tower. He was my round 5 opponent. He's got a new army, not a new army, I think he's had this army for a while, but I've never seen it before, playing his Sylvanals. So let's just jump right into it. He's bringing a whole tree list, basically. He's got the Avatar Nature, which is pretty scary. And then he's got the Tree Father Ancient with Druidism. Force some Druidism. I believe he had Regrowth, Entwining Roots, Stone Skin, and I think the Regen spell. Yes, that sounds all about right. Then he's got a Thicket Tripper BSB. 2 things of 24 Dryads in line formation, 1 thing of 10 Dryads, 2 things of Thicket Beasts. The one without his BSB has Strength 5, 2 Eagles, and another Tree Father. And then this is a list I got off the forums, actually. Actually, I'm going to shout out to a battle report that I watched, I think with F Thunder in it, and he was rocking a Griffin list. And I kind of saw it, and I thought it was really cool, and I kind of adapted a little bit, changed it just a little bit. He had a Griffin on, he does Wizard on a Griffin, which I thought was crazy, but I wanted to fit a Steam Tank in because I've been really enjoying Steam Tank in my list. So I've got a Marshal with the Ghostly Guard, Winter Cloak. He's my General with the Shield and Lance, Great Griffin. Then I've got another Marshal with the Basalt Infusion, Talisman Shielding. It says he's the General too, but that's not right. He's got Shield Lance and a Pistol on a Great Griffin. I've got a Marshal with the Black Steel. He's my BSB with a shield, so he's got a 1-up. Then I've also got a Wizard with the Talisman of the Void, Wizard Master, and Path of Cosmology. And then 35 Light Infantry with Spears and Full Command. 2 things of 20 Light Infantry with Crossbows. They both have champions with long rifles. One just has the Standard Bearer with the Marksman Pendant, or it should have it. I don't know why it's not in there. Oh, that's right, because yeah. And then 10 Militia with pistols, 2 things of 5 Imperial Rangers, 2 things of 5 Riders with pistols, Race Pistols, 4 Knights Sun Griffin with Lance, Shield, Musician, Steam Tank, Imperial Rocketeers, and a Cannon. Yeah, I forgot to add in the banner on that, but they did have it. Not that it ever really came into play, though. So, starting with deployment. So, we're playing Dawn Assault and Capture the Flags. He's got his just kind of normal Tree Father on the left right there. One of his big units of Dryads, and then one of his units of Thicket Beasts, or both of his unit of Thicket Beasts. The one on the left has his big tree, which is his VSB. And then you can see that other small unit of Thicket Beasts. That is the one with the Strength 5 attacks. Another unit of Dryads in the middle with his Tree Father Ancient behind them. The small unit of Dryads kind of behind that rune, and then both his Eagles on the right flank, and his Avatar in Nature is behind those Eagles. I was a little intimidated by the Avatar Nature. I mean, I have only 1 cannon in this list. Oh, I guess I have 2 with this Team Tank, but I only have 1 cannon in. I mean, if he makes those 5 ward saves, that guy's pretty tough in combat. I don't really think my Griffin guys can take it. Maybe the Steam Tank on the charge a little bit, but then I could even take a lot of damage. So this is my scouting drops. Put 1 unit in the water feature, and then I put just kind of 1 out in the I guess the open fields, I guess. And then starting with my deployment. So I've got 1 unit of Riders on the right, and then we actually both chose the same corner of the board not to deploy in. My Steam Tank next to them, and then one of my Great Griffins. That one right there is actually my General. One of the unit of Light Infantry with my Rocket Battery behind them, and then my decent-sized unit of Spearmen in the middle with my BSB. Next to them are the other unit of 20 Light Infantry, and this unit is the one without the banner, actually. It's the one on the other side that has the banner. Behind them is my Cannon, and then I've got my 10 Militia with pistols and my Wizard, and then my Arcane Engine actually is another Great Griffin General. I unfortunately have 1 model. I wasn't expecting... I mean, man, who was playing with 2 Great Griffins back in the day? I only had 1 model, so maybe I'll get another one. Who knows? If I really like this list. And then 4 Knights of Sun Griffin, and then 5 more Riders, finishing out my deployment. Yeah. And then I did not like where I put those Riders on that left side because they really couldn't get anywhere. They couldn't get past my opponent, so the Riders actually kind of move all the way towards the middle. They Vanguard on 12 forward, and then 12 to the right. So I got turn 1, and as you can see, I moved my Griffin a little bit, and I moved my Knights up just a little bit more on the hill, moved my Wizard up to cast some magic. And yeah, I moved my Steam Tank a little bit, and I moved my other Grey Griffin up. He's actually just within 12 inches of that light infantry unit too, so he can still throw out that order if he wants. And then turn 1, I get the Flux card 2, which isn't terrible. Not too bad, not too great on turn 1. I throw Ice and Fire at this unit of Dryads, and I do 4 wounds. Actually, a decent time to use the fire part of Ice and Fire now. And then I put Altered Sight up on my Imperial Rocketeers. I haven't played with Imperial Rocketeers since I was doing playtesting, so it was kind of interesting to bring that piece out. I'm able to kill one of the Eagles with just one of my units of light infantry. And then I'm able to put 2 wounds onto this Eagle with, and this was my archers, my riders, all shooting together. Only could do 2 wounds, unfortunately. Just kind of not enough, decent amount of hits, just not enough wounds popping up. And then I shot at this unit of Dryads with my other unit of light infantry, and I think they did like 2 or 3 wounds, which is pretty good, considering it was just kind of hitting on 5s. And then Sylvan Elf's turn 1. Not really too much going on. Sylvan Elf's turn 1. He moves his Eagle back a little bit. He moves his Avatar up a little bit. I didn't really get a great picture of his moon, but I mean, he just moved up. Obviously, he casted some Doritos of magic, but for the most part, it wasn't very impacting. So we're just going to kind of go right into EoS turn 2. One of the big things I did is I moved I have one unit of Riders practicing as a unit of Knights. I have to put together more Riders. And then they put him right in front of the Avatar Nature because I kind of wanted to slow him down. My cannon misfired turn 1. And it wasn't going to be able to shoot again until the next turn, so I figured I was going to need more time to put some damage on that guy. I think the Steam Tank could possibly kill him on the charge, but I don't know if it'll outgrind him because he's got that strength 7, and that's pretty scary. So, and then on just the left flank, I'm just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to charge both my Grey Griffin Marshal and my Knights of Sun Griffin into combat, into a meaningful combat that I think I can win. Because unfortunately, the Thicket Beasts with the BSB are stubborn, so that's a tough one to budge. I do Touch of the Heart on his Tree Father over there, and I just do 1 wound to him, which was nice. I mean, 1 wound is 1 wound. I'm able to get Altered Sight off on the Rocket Battery. Unfortunately, the Rocket Battery is like hitting, but I can't wound with it, unfortunately. It's like getting like 1 or 2 hits a turn, and then I'm not doing any wounds. Then with the Steam Tank, I'm actually able to do 2 wounds to this bad boy, so not too bad. Yeah, he's starting to take a little bit of damage. I'm able to finish off the other Ego with my unit of Riders, which is great. Now he really doesn't have any chaff, and I mean, I don't really have that much chaff either, but now we're even there. Really put some damage out on these guys. This is the middle unit of Dryads. I mean, they're down to only 16 models. That's pretty good. Got a whole line through. So, Sylvan Elf turn 2. He moves up. The nice thing about this tree army is, I mean, they're tough because it's like T4 and T5 everywhere. And I mean, Resilience 6 on the Tree Fathers. But they're not all that fast. I mean, Advance 5 is decently fast, but you know, like it's not the fastest army in the world. So he's moving up, but he's also he's definitely been very cautious of all my kind of Griffins and my Knights of Sun Griffin that could possibly countercharge and get into some of the more vital, weaker units. He's able to heal a wound back on his Tree Father, or his Avatar Nature, with his Druidism magic. And he's able to put Stone Skin on the big unit of Dryads in the middle, which is also really nice because that was one of the easiest ones for me to pick on with all my crossbows, but now it's not really good for me to shoot at them. And then he does his Entwining Roots, I believe, or the root attack, shooting attack at my unit of riders. He actually uses both the Ancient and the Avatar Nature, and they bring me down to one model, but I passed my panic test, so that's nice. So EoS turn 3. I kind of just surround that small unit of Dryads with all my shooting. I just want to pick on them as much as possible. They're one of his scoring units, and they're one of the weaker scoring units. And then still, I really haven't moved too far that much. Just kind of moving a little bit forward, moving a little bit back in return with my nice Sun Griffin and my Griffin Marshal. I'm just kind of curious how I really want to get into those Dryads. I don't want to fight the thick beasts, but I don't know. Yeah. So I get Flux Card 8 on my third turn, which is really good. I'm able to do. I think this was a Touch of the Heart. I've kind of figured out that I really need to be targeting the thick beasts. They're probably the greatest threat in the army. So do Touch of the Heart, do a wound. Then I do an Ice and Fire, and I think I do like 2 or 3 more wounds, which is pretty good. I do the Ice version this time. And then I start shooting at them. I believe this was the Rocket Battery. I think it does, another 3 wounds or something like that. Fortunately, I think the Rocket Battery hit like 2 or 3 times, and then I just only wounded once. That Strength 5 is, I don't want to say it's not enough because it's good, but in my case, I feel like it's something that's not strong enough. I shoot over here with all my bows and all my riders, and I kill 4 Dryads. So, I mean, they're tough, though. Then they got a word save. Sylvan Elf, turn 3. So, this is where, I think my opponent's finally decided that he just needs to kind of push these thicket beasts forward as much as possible. They're probably the toughest part of his army. They're hard for me to kill, and they're definitely a tough challenge. So, he moves them up like so, and he's also got a Tree Father pretty close, and then he's holding his Dryads back, because those thicket beasts, they're scoring units, but I mean those are his toughest scoring units, really. I mean the Dryads are good, but against my armor, some of them use a lot of armor, they're not going to be as effective. And then this is my opponent unfortunately made a blunder, I think, and this is actually not his fault, but at one point he wanted to charge my Great Griffin right there in the right. And he's like, all right, I'm going to charge him. And I'm like, what are you doing? There's a building there. And he's like, oh, my God. And he just never plays with flat terrain. And I think this was like his second game this day with flat terrain. And it's just the terrain on the board just kind of messed with his mind. And unfortunately, he was kind of just moving his Tree Father. I don't want to say the wrong way, but like he could have been more aggressive with him. Instead, it was kind of probably got held back a turn because he was thinking, it was like, oh, I'm going to charge this guy on the flank. He does the root attack at my riders right here, but he only does 1 wound, which is nice. I don't even have to take a panic test. And then EoS turn 4. I'm kind of deciding it now. I have to probably be a little more aggressive, so I charge my not General Griffin Marshal at one of his Tree Fathers. I'm thinking he's got 1 wound on him still. I got a decent amount of Strength 6 attacks, possibly just more wounds. And then I charge both of my riders at this unit Dryad. So there's 6 Dryads left. I'm kind of hoping with all the initial 10 pistol shots that I'm able to do something. We'll see. And then this is actually really sad. This was an 11-inch charge, and I put my order for movement on the Spearman, and I think I needed 11, and I rolled a 5 on the dice, so I was 1 inch short of getting into the flank of that unit, which would have been so good. Oof. Yep, there's the double order. And then this is where the rest of the board looks like. And then I don't even know what I was thinking, but I should have also just charged my Knights of the Sun Griffin at that smaller unit of Thicket Beasts. For some reason, I don't know why, I held back, and I pushed my Knights back, and then I was looking at it later in the turn, and I was like, what am I doing? I guess maybe I was just really confident that the Spearmen were going to do it, but the Knights of Sun Griffin would have had they would have probably been able to wipe that unit out, actually. Instead, I'm just holding him back now, and now he can come to me, and this might be a tougher fight. I moved my steam tank forward because, again, I'm kind of like can get a little bit nervous with those Sicka beasts in the middle. I wanted to shoot my cannon at them. And you can see I do a little bit more damage to them, but not that much in the magic phase. I also get altered sight. I keep getting altered sight on my rocket battery, and my opponent's trying to stop it, but then I roll, and it's like, rocket battery's not doing it, fortunately, or pure rocketeers. I do get perception and strength off of my Great Griffin, so that's pretty awesome. Now I'm strength 7 with all my attacks on the charge, so that's pretty sweet. Again, so this was after, I think, multiple different kind of shooting attempts. I don't believe I shot my cannon at this guy. I want to say I shot my cannon maybe... I want to say I was trying to get the Tree Father Ancient in the back too, because the Druidism magic was annoying. But yeah, there's still quite a bit of Thick Beasts. And then in combat, oh man, I think I had like 4 or 5 hits with my pistols. I think I had 5 hits with my pistols, and then I only do like 2 wounds, and he makes 1 save. And then he strikes back, and he kills a bunch of riders. I stay in combat, but I think we lost by 1. And then in this combat right here, my Griffin receives 1 wound. I want to say I do 3 wounds to this guy though. Between the Griffin and the Marshal, which is pretty good. That strength 7 definitely helped. Wounding on 3 ups was much better than 4 ups. Yeah, but those Tree Fathers are tough with that 5 up. Sylvanos turn 1. He's gonna charge his smaller unit of Thick Beasts at my my light infantry with crossbows, and I stand to shoot, but I can't really do too much to them. And they get in, and then he pushes with his big unit forward. He actually almost failed a march block test, which would have been really good, but he passed it. And then he also charges his middle unit of Dryads at my steam tank, I think just to hold it up, maybe do a couple wounds to it or something like that. But it's a steam tank, so it's pretty resilient to those strength 4 attacks. And then you can see his Tree Father Ancient just kind of like moving towards the back of the board, just getting away from my general on his Griffin, who's definitely kind of trying to threaten the backfield. But almost, honestly, too late. I moved him back too late to really do too much. And then his Avatar Nature is wrapping around the building and kind of coming in and trying to get that other unit of crossbows on his turn 4. So magic doesn't really do too much. Yep, so pretty much EoS turn 5. I decide that I have to, at this point, I have to charge my Nexus Griffin at the big unit of Thick Beasts. Just don't really have the choice. I charge my Spearmen at the middle unit Giant because I think, honestly, with just all the static combat res I bring, and then the Steam Tank did, actually, I think the Steam Tank won on its turn. It rolled, a great number of grinds. He didn't make that many saves. But at the same time, but obviously he didn't flee because he had his Avatar nearby. But now it's like with all the combat res and the Steam Tank grinding, I'm pretty sure I can just win that combat. Possibly chase that unit down, because right now nobody has claimed any scoring units. And my general on his Griffin charges the small unit of Dryads too. I think they're down to 5 guys, maybe 6. He might have. I think he was trying to bring them back, but I was able to stop his res spell, which is good. And then I don't know what to do with my Huntsman at this point. Sort of regretting putting him on the same side of the field. I think that was a mistake. Yeah. I think one of them should have been in the water, and one of them should have been just in the middle of the field or something. So, and then my wizard's just chilling on his own because he doesn't really have any offensive magic or shooting. So he's just chilling behind the knights. I was trying to figure out how I could use those militia, but they're useless. So I get a decent magic maze, flux card 6. I don't think I have any Veil tokens, so I have like a 2 dice advantage. But the nice thing about Cosmo, it's really easy to get spells off. So I get Altered Sight off on my my opponent's unit of Thick Beasts, which is great. Lets me hit him on 3s. I get Touch of the Heart off on my Griffin Lord over here. He actually took a wound on my opponent's turn, so that's nice. And then into combat. Yeah, I have no real problems beating those Dryads. Again, he did a few wounds to me. Steam Tank, again, had a decent number of grinds, did like a few wounds. We almost washed on wounds, and then it was like I had to charge 3 ranks, and then I think I beat him by 3 or 4, and then just chased him down with the Spearman. And then my Great Griffin General also had no problem really mopping up those. I think he did. I want to say he did at least 3 wounds himself, broke their steadfast, and then was just able to chase them down. And then over here, I actually didn't take any wounds, which was great. He's only strength 4 with this unit, which is really nice for me. So I didn't take any wounds from him. I think I only killed. Looks like I only did like 3 wounds to him, but he passed his steadfast test. And then the light infantry was able to hold last turn because they had a whole rank left over. So they had the parent unit's ranks of like 5, so they're steadfast. But now they weren't, and these guys get into my cannon too. So Sylvan Elf, turn 5. He moves his avatar up. He charges his unit of Dryads, his other big unit, into the flank of my other Griffin Marshal. And he's moving his avatar, Ancient Treeman, over a little bit. It really doesn't have much to fear. I mean, the Rock Battery just can't do the damage. Could possibly do a lot of damage, but most likely won't. There's that flank charge right there that I was telling you guys about. So I think he's able to put a wound back on his dude. I want to say he was hanging on at 5 wounds, and then he put in the wound on, which stinks. The Thicket Beasts have no problem just kind of wiping up the cannon. And then I want to say he overruns right here, which I don't know. I think it might have been just I don't want to say it was poor conduct on my part, but because obviously I'm kind of like starting to maneuver some of his units, and there's some in my field. He probably could have just reformed with them, but they overrun, go off the board. In this combat, man, I think he did 4 wounds, and I rolled really bad armor saves, and he kills a whole Knight of the Sun Griffin. I want to say I lost by 1 here, but I stuck. And then over here, this is like a really blurry picture. I'll do 1 more wound to his treeman, and then I get pushed off the board with combat res. So EoS turn 6. Yeah, at this point I feel like I don't really have anything to do. I charge the Steam Tank into the Avatar Nature. He's got 2 wounds on him. I'm hoping maybe with those impact hits, could, maybe get a really good roll, do some damage, possibly kill him. Not going to really have to worry about the middle right there because those guys are just going to come on. Again, he probably could have gotten 1 more unit there, but I don't think it would have really made that big of a difference. So I do come in with the Steam Tank. I do 4 wounds, and I got really excited, and then he made 2 ward saves. So probably, that's probably almost how it should have gone, but I was really excited for a second because obviously that guy's a big chunk of points. But I do have 1 more turn to get him down to maybe getting half points off him. And then I had to play this wrong in the Magic phase. I thought Touch of the Heart raised a wound, so that's why there's another Knighted Sun Griffin. That's my fault. I can't remember. I feel like it used to raise a wound, but now it just recovers a wound. I don't know if that was ever like that. I really didn't use Touch of the Heart a lot before, but I kind of started looking and I'm like, that's a good spell. I like the idea of getting a wound back and stuff, so I feel like my Steam Tank, especially in this with the Griffin dudes. But unfortunately, I played that wrong. That's why there's another guy there. And then I want to say I won this combat, but I couldn't break him. And then Sylvan Elf turn 6. This was really bad. So his Tree Father right there has 5 wounds on it, or it's got 1 wound left, so it's giving up half points right now. He's got this whole match phase to put 1 wound on there, but he throws 1 dice. It was so bad. We were like, Mark, what are you doing? He threw 1 dice at Throne, and he failed it, and then we matched, and then I beat his other dice roll, so it's still giving up half points. It's a friendly game, so it's not like it was the end of the world. It was just like, Mark, what are you doing? His Thicket Beasts come back on, and then in the combat phase, we both do 1 more wound to each other. I was actually rolling really well with my armor saves against this guy. I was almost like, man, this might have been something I should have had happen earlier in the game, maybe. But c'est la vie. And I don't speak French, by the way. I don't know why I said that. Yep, we both do 1 more wound, and now I've got hat points off the Avatar Nature, which is not bad. And he also charged his Dryads into my Knights of Sun Griffin, and oh my goodness, he made so many saves. He didn't even, I mean, like, because honestly, the Dryads aren't really going to do much. They've got, like, a little bit of just static combat res with, like, a charge, but they can't really do too much to my Knights of Sun Griffin, only their strike 4. I put 1 Griff on them, and the Griff hits 3 times, wounds 3 times, and he makes 2 ward saves. And then I put a bunch of attacks on his Thick Beast, makes a bunch of ward saves. It ends up coming down to a break test where I'm losing by 2, and I roll a 7. And I flee. I flee through my Wizard, but thankfully that guy passes his panic test, so he doesn't go off the board turn, because that would have been really dumb, actually. And also pretty much my fault, because he's right there. Could have moved him over. But he stays, thankfully. Losing the Knight of Sun Griffin, which is really sad because they're scoring. And this is what the board looks like. So I didn't even bother turning around my Spearman or my General, because it was like, what are they going to do? It was my turn 6. Yeah, so we both killed 2 scoring units. I got one of his big units of Dryads, and then his small unit of Dryads. And then he got one of my units of crossbows, and also one of my Knights of Sun Griffin. He probably could have threatened the other unit of crossbows. I would have had to probably be a little more clever with them, maybe marching them, and then maybe blocking with like the rocket battery. That would have been giving him more points. But either way, doesn't really matter because my opponent already won. This ends up being an 11-9 loss for the Empire Sunstorm, unfortunately. But I can't really complain. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. I feel like, especially with these armies, with like a demon army or like an all-tree army, sometimes it just comes down to the ward saves. As funny as it is, I feel like, you know, if your opponent makes a lot of ward saves, you're probably just gonna have a hard time winning. I did make a huge mistake not charging the Knights of Sun Griffin on, what was it, like turn 3, where I charged the Spearman. I mean, obviously the Spearman charge would have been amazing, because I don't think my opponent was intending to give me that flank or that charge. But unfortunately, I couldn't roll it. You know, a 6 on the dice is pretty low for a charge, but sometimes you just can't get it. So yeah, 11-9 defeat. That's okay. It was good to play against Sylvanals. I haven't played against them in a long time. And good learning experience, really. Yeah, just target the Thicket Beast. I don't even know what I was doing targeting the Dryads earlier with all my crossbows. I think I like the idea of doing more damage to them, but, like, I don't know. The Thicket Beasts are so much harder to kill. But you almost need to start doing wins earlier on, or otherwise you're never going to get rid of them. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this battle report. Been Evershade Gaming, and I'll be back soon with another Ninth Age battle report. See ya.